Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Chill Mantis again, and I'm here to talk about Passport Bros. So, as we have seen here in America, we have seen an increase of American men going to different countries to find more traditional wives there. Now, the question is, why is that happening? There is a lot of reasons as to why this is happening, but I think what it boils down to is American men have moved on from American women and are in search of something else. So, let's dive deep into this. The first reason is traditional cultures. Women from other countries tend to have more traditional values and basically more of the wife figure in a way, saying like they are basically going to support their men at all costs. They're going to be making sure that the men are well taken care of. They're going to follow what the man does, as in like the man's going to lead and the women are going to follow through with the plans and be very supportive of him in a way. These values that these women from all these other different countries share are being loyal, faithful, and always supporting the partner, the spouse, like the man, and just basically just overall being there for him and just being his teammate in a way. American men are going to find this very attractive because because us American men, most American men are raised to grow up. We are raised to protect our women, to grow up, do well in school, go to trade school, join the military, whatever it may be. And we're taught that we have to take care of our women. And when these women that are from different countries are taught the same way, like they're taught to be wives at a young age and be good to their men and to always be a family kind of person, us American men, we find that as a compatible partner, as someone that we can build this life with, that we see having no issues in the future with. And we overall we just want to overall we want to make sure that we're picking the right partner for us for our future. And believe it or not, having a spouse, having a wife like this motivates American men to get up out of bed every morning. It motivates us to have this pride, and which, not saying that we never did, but it makes us even more prideful than we originally were to go out there, work, and make this money and support our wives, because we know we have a loyal, faithful teammate on the back end supporting us and supporting the family back at home. And even if that spouse is working, she's still bringing something to the table, and she's still backing the man up, basically playing as the second-hand teammate, which is what we look for. There are many countries out there that raise these women to be more wife figures from the young age until they're young adults. And some of these countries are like Japan, the Philippines, Thailand, and many, many more. And it's not just in Asia, there's countries in South America, it's just everywhere. There's many examples that we can see from this. American men are not looking for a lot in a woman. They are not sitting there thinking to themselves like, I want every single piece of criteria met. There may be some men out there that are like that. And when I say American men, I'm speaking for most, not all. Yes, there are some out there that are not good. Just like with anything, you got your bad apples out there. But for the most part, American men, we look for a woman that can always support us, that can always be there for us when we have a long day at work, or when we're going through things in life, or just a partner that can just basically be with us for good. We're thinking long term. We're not thinking short term with this. Let's talk about modern day feminism. I'm just going to put this disclaimer out there right now. I support women's rights 100%. I truly do. I believe women all around the world should be equal. I believe women here in America should be equal. And I believe women should be able to vote like we have here in America. I believe women should be able to work, be able to earn the same amount in the workplace, etc. I believe all of that. The new modern day feminism has created this mindset in American women to where they feel almost entitled to whatever kind of man they want. They're very picky on physique, like basically how a man looks. They're very judgmental on how much they make and how much, like, and how tall they are. They want, like, I've seen like the Whatever podcast and some other podcasts too, where they bring like these women on the talk show, and these guys are basically just asking these women questions what what kind of men do you aspire to have? And they say, well, we want a man who's like 6 foot, over 6 feet tall, makes six figures a year, stuff like that. Unfortunately, the reality of the situation is younger men, especially when it's like time to start settling down, finding them, your permanent partner for the rest of your life, you are not at a younger age, it's going to be very hard to be making six figures a year. There are certain jobs out there that do pay higher than others, but for the most part, you aren't going to be making six figures right off the bat. American women are always looking for everything. They want the whole package, but that's not really how that works. And whereas women from other countries, yes, they want a man who is well established, and they want him to not be a loser essentially, and want him to have a career and be focused on trying to go out and do bigger and better and going to college or going to trade school or being in the military, whatever it is, like I mentioned earlier. But overall, it's what it comes down to is American women are very picky about what they want in a man. And I know there's that cliche saying, if she's not there for you at your lowest, does she deserve to be there at your highest? Well, kind of makes you think a little bit. And another modern day feminism characteristic that has sent a lot of American men to running to the hills basically is when women go out and are becoming very promiscuous and starting to gain high body counts. It's almost as if it has to be accepted here that women having a high body count is okay. A lot of American men find that to be a huge turnoff. Like, no matter how beautiful the woman is, if she has a high body count, they are more than likely not going to be looking to get with that woman. And another thing too is what they don't understand is the more you have, the more partners you have, and the more you keep going, basically it devalues you. You become less wanted by other men once they find out, because it's based on your value. You got to think about it like this. Would you buy a car that looks nice, looks good, detailed, looks like it's been well taken care of, but it's got 200,000 miles on it? No, you would never buy a car like that. That just comes with a lot of problems. And another thing you have to think about too is, since American men are expected to go out there, we got to go earn, we got to go to school, got to go do all that, go get a job that's making all this money, and we are expected to be making six figures a year from American women, and these women are going around being promiscuous with other men and racking up a high body count. What does that offer to us? That doesn't offer anything. And that's why it's sending a lot of American men to outsource and look for women abroad. And I'm going to put this disclaimer out right now. This goes for men. This is for men. If you have a high body count, you don't get to be picky about girls who have high body counts. That's hypocritical. Just want to put that out there. And one of the biggest downfalls of the modern day feminism is the treatment of men here in general. I remember when I was in the Navy, there were guys that were on my ship, guys I went to boot camp with, A school and all that, and they were telling me their wives, they were getting letters basically, getting phone calls saying that their wives, their girlfriends were leaving them because they couldn't handle that they were away all the time, they couldn't handle that they were doing this job, which, I mean, you're in the United States military and it's not an easy job, and you sign as a spouse, you basically know what to expect with that. And they're running off with other men, and it's a little messed up. And don't get me wrong, I've seen the other way too. I've seen it, but it really is more common on this side. And a lot of American men ended up just finding women in other countries, and we're just like, this is the life. This is what we've been wanting. And let's look at when women treat nice guys, nice American men, poorly, and they run off to get with guys who are less in value, as we would say. This is where that term nice guys finish last really starts to come in full effect. Like, we'll even look at another scenario. Look at like when a man goes up to another woman, like they're at a bar, right? The whole bar setting. A man goes up to a woman and he starts talking, trying to make a conversation, and starts talking with the woman to like say, hey, maybe he might want to go on a date with her. Maybe he might want to get to know her a little bit more. Who knows? He's really just testing the waters. And some of these women will shoot you down right in front of everyone. They'll be awful about it. They'll be disrespectful. They'll scream. And it's happened a lot. They'll tell them like F off basically. And it gets to a point where American men are like, it's not, they're just like, why? Like, why even bother? It's not empowering. It's not anything to be proud of to do that to people. You know, it's okay if you're not into the person and you go, look, I appreciate it. I'm not interested at the moment. I'm not looking for anything. Okay, respectfully. That's a nice way to go about it. I'm not saying say yes to every man. No. I'm just saying there are ways to go about it. But you see all these TikTok videos and stuff like that online where these women are shooting down men or something like that, and you just sit there and you go, wow, okay, that's how far you got to go to be like that. You're gonna go to that length to embarrass someone. It's kind of disrespectful, and it's definitely, like I said, it's not empowering at all. All right, let's look inside the mind of an American man. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, most American men, we are raised to take care of our women. We are raised that not only do we got to be providers, but we got to protect them in the house. Say if there's a man who breaks inside the apartment or the house, we got to be the ones to go down and protect our family, protect our woman. You know, that's what we are expected to do. Obviously, if I'm putting it out there, just so there's no legal issues in the future, if a man, I'm not saying go down there if the guy is armed and, you know, go be Superman and do stuff like that, but you guys get what I'm kind of saying with this. You're there to protect your family. You're there to protect your women. That's just that's how we were raised, and that's what we were taught. That's what most traditional American men have been taught growing up. And notice how I said most. I don't know, like, this is kind of the way I am with my wife, in a way. I take a lot of pride in making sure she's taken care of. Like when I bring her to the doctors when something's going on, or I'm taking her out to dinner, or I'm making sure that she's getting the things that she needs, the food's getting put on the table because of me working, in which she's working too, she is, but I'm mainly the breadwinner in the house when it comes down to it, and I take a lot of pride in that. I really sit there and I look at her being very well taken care of, and it shows me that I'm doing my job correctly and that I'm doing what I was raised to do, what my parents taught me growing up. A lot of us men, we are expected to join the military, go to trade school, go to college, get these certifications, degrees, whatever it may be, and we're expected to go out there into the workforce and make something big of ourselves. Most American men really spend the first part of their lives looking at trying to become successful, trying to land a good career that has good benefits, good medical, vision, dental, has good pay, and good longevity with it. We are looking for careers where not only can we provide for ourselves, but we can provide for our women, or we can provide for our families, just our families in general. But what also dwindles in our minds a lot is while we are working hard to make a successful career, to land a good job or that dream job that we wanted, or start that business that we've always wanted to do, we also want a woman that's going to stay by our side from start to finish. And that is what we truly look for in a woman that's going to support us from the start all the way to the end. So women from other countries, they do have standards, right? I'm not saying that they don't. Throughout this whole video, I'm not saying that at all. They do have standards. They don't want to date a loser. They don't want to date someone who is sitting on the couch not doing anything all day. But at the same time, they do understand that their men are not, that their spouse, the American man is not going to sit there and be making all this money right away. They know it's going to take quite a bit of time. It's going to take a while. You don't just make 6 figures a year right off the bat. There are certain jobs where probably you can do that, but for the most part, no, that's not going to happen. And that's why they stick with their significant other throughout the journey. And us American men, we sit there and we think about that and we go, that's not just a marriage. That's not just a spouse. That's not just my significant other. Like, we're a team. That's essentially what it comes down to. It's just being a team. And when we think of that, we think very highly of that. We want that. That is exactly what we look for. And with that team that I was just talking about, there comes a term that everybody is very familiar with, most people are familiar with, called chemistry. American men and most women from different countries seem to share a common chemistry with one another. They want to build this future together. They want to work hard. They want to support one another. And it just becomes this big team effort, like I was mentioning before. And I'm not saying that there aren't any American women out there that don't want to do that, but the meter tends to point towards more women from other countries. Not saying American women don't do that at all. Just want to put that out there. At the end of the day, us Western men, we just want a woman to follow us, to see our journey through, to support us no matter what, to be there for us when we need it. Most of us don't expect a lot. We don't look for anything completely out of the ordinary. And women from different countries, they understand that, we have a job to do. We are obligated to support them, and we're going to do everything that we can. And these women from other countries, they're very understanding of that. And they understand the fact that they have to support us as well. It's yin and yang. It's the balance, essentially. And lastly, I'd like to introduce myself. I am also a passport bro myself. I left for the United States Navy when I was 19 years old. I was 18, and then a week after my 19th birthday, I was gone in boot camp. I had no idea what the world was going to have in store for me out there. I had no idea what I was going to get into. I had no idea where I was going to get stationed. And I remember I got the orders in A school that I was going to Japan, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be away from everybody. I'm going to be, what's going to happen? But then I thought to myself, one of the guys was like, he even said to me, like, bro, you're going to Japan. It's all right, look. And, soon enough, it all worked out perfectly. I married a Japanese woman. I was stationed in Sasebo, Japan, and I met the most amazing woman that I have ever met in my life. She has taken care of me when I've been sick before. She has treated me with the utmost respect while I was away in the military, as in being in the middle of the ocean, circling, doing the underways and everything. She was remaining loyal, faithful, supporting me. I'd come home in port, and she would be there waiting for me. She'd be like, hey, this weekend, when you get a chance, my family wants to cook dinner, and wants to spend time with you. Her family welcomed me into their house with open arms. And it was the greatest thing ever. And it was like a place where I felt like I belonged almost. And I had never been treated this well by a girl. This was just amazing. And we officially got married last year because we went through the whole immigration process, but I've been with her since 2018. And I look at it all like God basically paved this road for me to go to Japan and meet her. And she really makes me the happiest there is. I'm so glad it never went any other way in my life than it has the way it did. And she was just something else. She would always make sure that I was taking care of myself, and she would always check up on me. Like if I got hurt, she was like, make sure you go see the doctor. You go see the doctor right away and you tell me about it. I love that. It's great. She always was cooking me food, like the most amazing food, like she still does now. Great food. Japanese food. I always like to sit there and brag and say, while everyone else is going out to Japanese restaurants, I got my wife cooking me Japanese food here. And boy, oh boy, is it great. I am basically like the typical guy that goes to another country while he's in the military, marries a woman over there, mainly Japan. That happens a lot, like more than you think. And I met the most amazing wife in the world. And honestly, I love owning the title as a passport bro. And because she's just the greatest. I know I keep repeating myself, but she really is just amazing. And I can't see it any other way. Overall, this is what I'm saying. I'm not only am I speaking from what is really that has gone on throughout what is happening now in our country and such, but with American men outsourcing, going to different countries and finding their forever partners over there. But I'm a passport bro myself, and I speak from experience. And yeah, this really conducts what I've been talking about. Hope you guys like it.